So we are going to move on to pregnancy and children's health, which is a huge deal for us. We're just very passionate about families and about women and about children. And we believe, childbirth is critical, and future generations. And we see what's happening to our children and women and the issues with infertility. So we're going to have products in here for hormones, for pregnancy, for fertility. And, life begins in the womb. We know that. And even more importantly, is life begins, preparing your body begins way before a woman gets pregnant. In ancient cultures, they would actually feed a specific diet to a woman who was a young woman for 2 years before she would get pregnant. She would eat specific foods completely different and unique than the rest of the tribe or their group or their, or of her people. Specific valued nutritious foods just because they valued pregnancy so much and they valued childbirth so much. And you think of our culture today, we eat junk food, fast food, do whatever we want, smoke, drink, and all of a sudden we get pregnant and we stop doing a couple bad things. You see how far our culture has fallen, and how much we've changed, unfortunately. And we see this epidemic of fertility issues, miscarriages. I mean, so many problems with women being able to give birth. It's really, really sad. And so we want to help with that. We want to help make that better. We want women to be fertile. I mean, you're designed to have children. Women are designed to have children. There's no reason a woman shouldn't be able to have a healthy child. So we love the Wish Garden products for that. That's their specialty. That's what they do. And their products, for the most part, pretty much speak for themselves. So a couple of things we really value, and I don't have it in the women's section, so I want to mention it real quick, is cod liver oil, something we always recommend to women for pre-pregnancy nutrition. You can go on my website to the Education Center, the fertility section. We have all kinds of articles in there. I have a big article I wrote on fertility that talks about all the nutrients the body needs. I did some classes in the GAPS classes on pregnancy nutrition and children's nutrition. Those are really valuable to listen to because I actually go through all the different vitamins, minerals, nutrients a mom needs to have a healthy baby in the womb. The reason pre-pregnancy nutrition is so important is because your body has to have certain things in it so that baby can form properly. There are certain vitamins like vitamin A that's critical for cell differentiation, that your cells of your body, the baby being formed in the womb, won't know how to communicate and form different organs properly if that vitamin or mineral is missing. Weston A. Price actually did research studies where he took vitamins out of a specific animal's diet, like a pig, and those pigs were born blind. And those pigs were born with deformities. And he put that nutrient back into their diet, and the next generation of pigs were perfectly healthy. So we know that we say genetics, we hear that term a lot, oh, it's genetic, or something happened, it's genetic. Most of the time when they're saying genetic, it technically is, but it's nutritional deficiencies, mineral deficiencies, poor diet, poor lifestyles being passed on down to future generations. Not, oh, it's genetic mystery and there's nothing we can do about it, and oh my gosh, that's just life. That's not what's happening. There's real cause and effect reasons why everything happens. And again, everything we believe, God's design. God's design, His blueprint's perfect, but what type of building materials we provide into that blueprint to build that child? It's critical. So let's just go through some of these products. Most of the names speak for themselves. So we have Bummeroid for hemorrhoids, which is common during pregnancy. We have Cord Care. And the Cord Care is actually a balm to help the newborn infant to not get infected, because that commonly gets infected, that umbilical cord, before it fully falls off. Happy Duct Compress. So this has instructions on how a woman can actually make a tea and make a compress and apply it to her breast that can help with, it says it right here, it helps with pain, blocked milk ducts, and infections. So we have problems with milk supply, or the milk ducts not flowing properly, or mastitis, where you get an infection in the breast. Cabbage leaves worked for that, applying cabbage leaves to the breast. But this is an herbal blend that you can actually make a compress for the breast. After birth sitz bath. Okay, does everybody know what a sitz bath is? Have you heard of that? Okay, it's where you have a little tub and you put water or some herbs in it, and you basically, it's kind of like a squat bath, and you just kind of squat and put your butt in it. And so this is a sitz bath for post-pregnancy, or after birth, I should say, post-birth. And this is to help strengthen and tighten after pregnancy, to make everything heal and firm up quicker. Now that'll happen naturally, but there's herbs that'll help it. So again, if I look at these herbs, why does this work? It's got plantain in it. We have a healing salve that has comfrey and plantain in it. Plantain is a wound healer. It's an amazing herb. It's a weed in everybody's yard. Everybody has plantain in their yard. It's got uva ursi leaf in it and witch hazel. Witch hazel is a really powerful astringent. It tightens. You'll see witch hazel in a lot of beauty products because it tightens and tones the skin. So doesn't that make sense that after birth you'd want to bathe in something that tightens and tones your skin? So this is really cool. We have different oils here. We have baby oil with calendula. So that's to replace the baby oils that are on the market, which are made from what? Petroleum, coal tar. What's Vaseline made for? What's Vaseline called? Petroleum jelly.
Yep. Yep.
So we don't need to use petroleum on our children. This is almond oil with lavender, chamomile, elder, and calendula flowers. Awesome. Pregnant belly oil. So this is for the pregnant to be massaged on a pregnant belly. Elder flowers, bee pollen, and comfrey, and almond oil. And this is peri-massage oil. So this is for the perineum. And this has comfrey leaf, comfrey root, and sage. And so this is to get the perineum ready for childbirth towards the end of pregnancy. Prenatals. We don't have 20, we have 3. We have Garden of Life, we love them. We have Synergy, awesome company. And we have Prenatal DHA by Renew Life. This is one that actually has the DHA in it, which is the algae, which is well known to be kind of tied to women's health and hormones, because a lot of DHA goes to the baby during pregnancy, and a lot of PPD, postpartum depression issues, can result from having a lack of essential fatty acids, especially DHA. So cod liver oil, fish oils, DHA from algae, those kind of things can really help during pregnancy as well. We want to take a good prenatal. Why? Well, we want whole food nutrition. I wish I had one, but I've grabbed prenatals from drugstores, like a CVS or a Walgreens, and you read that thing and it will make you cry to know that there's tens of thousands of women taking this thinking they're doing something healthy for themselves or their children. I mean, the other ingredients listed are all kinds of colorings and artificial flavors and just weird stuff that's toxic to the human body, known carcinogens to the human body. You've heard about folic acid during pregnancy, that folic acid is pregnancy. Folic acid is toxic to the human body. It will damage the baby. Folic acid is a synthetic. Okay, the B vitamin that's critical for pregnancy is called folate. That's naturally occurring in plants. So if you get the Garden of Life prenatal and you go down here and you're looking at your B vitamins and you're going, oh, does this have folic acid in it? It's got folate in it. It doesn't have folic acid in it. It has folate in it from organic lemons. Because folate is critical, but folic acid is not. Nobody knows that. People don't know that. You hear this folic acid thing all the time. Can't tell you how many research studies and things I've heard and read about folic acid being linked to problems with the baby. So this is the Pure Prenatal by Pure Synergy. Folate. I'm just highlighting one thing, but it's really important that women do whole food nutrition, because if they can't just go buy anything out of a drugstore and because it's labeled prenatal, assume that it's good for you. Those days are far gone. This next shelf is all pregnancy. Now, let me tell you what's cool about having a quality company like Wish Garden. You have to be really cautious what herbs you recommend to a woman who's pregnant. A woman can't just take any herb when she's pregnant. Most of the herbs she's taken when she's pregnant, you probably want to say, I would stop those herbs and I'd recommend you only taking products designed for pregnant women. Because there's certain herbs that have been used throughout history that are not only safe but beneficial for the woman and the child during pregnancy. But you don't want to just take anything. It's easier to tell a woman what herbs she can do while she's pregnant than the herbs she cannot do while she's pregnant, because the list would be like 100 to 1. So these products are safe for pregnancy and pregnant women, and that's why we trust them. So I kind of tried to do a little bit of an order to it. This is called fertility prep. So women comes in, she's 17, 18, she's 23, whatever, she's not married, she just got married, and she goes, I know what's going on in the world today, and I want to have children, and I want to have healthy children. How can I prepare my body? How can I have healthy hormones and a healthy system to prepare for pregnancy? Fertility prep. So I would have them do, and I have this all on the article I wrote and the classes I've done online, but you know, they would want to do herbs. So, well, let's read the herbs again. Raspberry leaf, vitex berry, that one keeps popping up, right? Michella aerials, black haw bark, blue cohosh bark, blue vervain aerials, and wild yam root. So we already talked about the wild yam and the vitex for the progesterone levels. Fertility prep, preparing the body's woman, preparing the increase of the progesterone for pregnancy. It makes sense that those herbs are in here. Red raspberry leaf, probably the most common herb used for pregnancy. Pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, post-pregnancy, red raspberry, red raspberry, red raspberry. Red raspberry, nettle is another one that's commonly used for pregnancy. You'll see in a lot of these formulas. So that's fertility prep. A lot of women are having trouble having children. They can't get pregnant at all. Fertility prep. You want to make sure they're putting herbs in their body that balances their hormones and gets their body ready for fertility. So then we jump to after ease birth pains. My wife took this after both of our children. A lot of times, well, Jen will describe to you that post-birth contractions can sometimes be worse than the contractions of actual childbirth, and nobody tells you that. She says that over and over. Nobody told me that. So this is after ease. So this is to help with the birth pains after birth. So this has black haw bark, cramp bark, yarrow, and motherwort. The first ingredient, cramp bark, is the same herb we give to women in the cramp relief for menstrual cramps. It's a herb that helps with cramping type of pains. So contraction, cramping, those different types of pains. Rebalance is postpartum hormonal balance. So emotions, hormones, you just had this baby, you got this flood of hormones going through your body, your bloodstream's got all these hormones working, your liver's all who knows what, trying to rebalance. So this is postpartum to help rebalance the hormones after childbirth. Happy ducks, what do you think that's for? Milk ducts. So we want to have happy milk ducts. So there's herbs that do that. We have Usnea lichen, elderflower, bee propolis, yarrow, baptisia, boneset, hops, echinacea, redroot, and pokeroot. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I'm glad that they specialize in this because I don't know about a lot, some of these herbs. But they have this Happy Ducks product. We also have this Nursing Magic product. I use this a lot. This is a capsule form. This one, the goat's rue, which is the first ingredient in this one, is from what I've heard, is the best herb for promoting milk flow. There's a tea called mother's milk that helps. And so herbs you'll traditionally hear for increasing milk flow would be fennel, fenugreek, and the goat's rue. So this one is goat's rue, blessed thistle, fenugreek, althea root, anise seed, fennel seed, and milk thistle seed. So this is a great formula for... This is the herbally grounded formula.
Okay. But that's in capsule form. With the others.
Yeah, that's a capsule form. So this is Wish Garden's product for, it's called Milk Rich. This is their goat's rue formula. So this one is those traditional red raspberry, goat's rue, fenugreek, fennel, nettles, and blessed thistle. So it's similar to this formula. This is kind of a liquid version of it.
What's it called again?
Milk Rich. This Happy Ducks I'm just reading the herbs in it. I'm realizing this isn't really a increased milk flow formula. The Milk Rich and the Nursing Magic is an increased milk flow formula. This Happy Ducks, having read these herbs, Echinacea, red root, poke root, this is actually for infections, for mastitis, for blocked ducts, for getting the lymphatic vessels open and functioning better. That's what this is for based on the herbs. So again, this is why it's good to know your herbs, because they can have a name that, Happy Ducks, you might think that for increasing milk flow. That's not what this is really for after I read this further. Does that make sense? Sage milk reduction. The only herb I've ever heard of or known that reduces milk flow is sage. So this is why, again, you don't want to have women just taking any herb. They could be taking some herbal blend that has sage in it, have milk production issues, and not know why. So that's why you only want to take herbs for pregnancy, during pregnancy or post-child, post-birth. So this is a formula to help a mother to wean. So
A lot of times if they have what you would consider, I don't know how to say it, but a child that dies condition, and they have their milk,
oh yeah,
that happens.
yep. So
There's
yeah, this is to
reasons
stop.
why reduce your milk.
Yep, so this is to stop the milk flow because you don't need the milk flow, or if you need to wean, you want to wean a child.
What was it called again?
It's just called sage milk reduction. And all that in it is sage. It's just sage leaf.
Like if they had twins and they only had one twin survive, your milk supply might come in raging and you might need to just knock it down a little bit.
Yeah.
What was that?
This is Emotional Ally for pregnancy. It's a spray, stress and anxiety related to childbirth. Now what's cool about this line, again, is these are formulas that are safe for pregnant women. And so if you're dealing with stress during pregnancy, if you have liver issues during pregnancy, liver strengthener. If you have iron deficiency, a lot of women have low iron levels because of their cycles, heavy flows. A lot of women need extra iron during pregnancy, herbal iron. What's in this formula? Yellow dock root, nettles, and dandelion. Yellow dock root, the highest known source of iron. I actually, for my wife, when she was pregnant with Naomi, I made a yellow dock decoction for her. I took home yellow dock powder, I boiled it on the stove. I boiled it and reduced it, like a reduction when you cook. I reduced it down and then I strained it, and she just did like a tablespoon a day. It was like a concentrated yellow dock liquid, which is super high in iron.
Actually craved it.
Yeah, she craved it. She was just hitting that.
And so the prenatal isn't going to be enough iron for some women.
No.
And we would know
Right.
that because they're coming in asking for iron, and what would be their symptom?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, typical symptoms with anemia is, what'd you say?
Fatigue.
Yeah, fatigue is the main system associated with anemia. Now, there could be other reasons people are tired, of course, but if a woman's having issues with her cycle, heavy flow, or she's pregnant and having major fatigue issues, iron's something you always want to look at.
The other thing is the prenatal is going to the digestive system, and depending on the ability to absorb those,
Oh, that's a good point.
could really determine how much they're actually getting out of their prenatal. Where some of these herbs are in the tincture form, you're putting them right under their tongue, you're going to get a really high dose right into their bloodstream.
So I want to make sure and repeat all this because I want it for the camera. So she made a good point that iron depends on your absorption levels, and you'll actually find the majority of irons I always recommend, and there are some in capsule forms, but most of the irons we have are all liquids. So the Floridex is a liquid iron. This is a herbal iron, Wish Garden. Cedar Bear has a liquid iron. I mentioned the yellow dock decoction I made for my wife was a liquid. So liquids are the best way to hit the body, get into the bloodstream. Iron needs to be in the blood. What does iron do in the blood? Oxygen. Oxygenates the bloodstream. So it's critical. Baby blues for mood issues during pregnancy. Calmatum. This is for morning sickness. What's in Calmatum? Peach, peppermint, and wild yam. Cool. Varicosity. What do you think that's for? Varicose veins during pregnancy. Sleepy nights. So again, a woman's pregnant, having issues with sleeping at night, you don't want to just give her any herbs. You want to make sure they're safe for pregnancy. So this has linden leaf and flowers, passion flowers, hawthorn berry. So it's more of a gentle sleep aid. It's not kava kava. That would be, you wouldn't do that during pregnancy. So you wouldn't want to go just take any sleep aid while you're pregnant. You want to take one that's designed for pregnant women.
It's really common in the third trimester for women to not sleep, believe it or not. And that's when they need to sleep the most, because they're getting ready to have a baby and they don't need to be sleep deprived. And it's really hard to sleep.
Cold seasons, same thing. You have a cold or flu, you don't want to be taking super strong herbs that may not potentially be safe for pregnancy. Hyssop, thyme, wild cherry bark, elderflowers, yerba santa leaf, and peppermint. You know, this isn't echinacea, golden seal, and oregano. That might be too strong for pregnancy. Is this making sense? Why? Yeah, this is important.
Reading the labels is really helping because I don't even know a lot of the okay herbs. And now that we can have a line that is totally safe for women, honestly, there's nothing like this in Kansas City.
No.
We are going to have a lot of women coming in here.
Yeah.
IHOP's all about adoption, pregnancy, and
Yep.
this is going to be a huge.
We need to market it.
So this is, so now I'm going to move into, so any questions on pregnancy? I would just encourage you to watch the classes I did online on pregnancy, the different things that we would recommend for pregnant women. But in general, you know, you want to support them with cod liver oil or some type of a really good fish oil, a good prenatal, a good herbal hormone balancing formula, and then the specifics they need based on issues they're dealing with.
And a good probiotic.
And a good probiotic. Thank you. Probiotics are also critical for pregnancy because that vaginal childbirth is how the child is inoculated. That's God's way of vaccination, I should say, or inoculation at childbirth. Is a vaginal birth. That's how all those probiotics are released to the baby. I talked in detail about that in the class I did on the probiotics and living organisms class I did in the what's that called? The Foundation of Creation series. Okay, so that's it for women's pregnancy. Any other questions? I'm going to stop it and restart it for children's.